One sentence, 3 seconds, and your entire day is ruined. One insult, one rude comment, and suddenly you're hijacked by emotion, thrown off course, and saying things you later regret. You felt it coming. You couldn't stop it, and the moment it was over, you wished you'd handled it differently. That ends today. Why does it feel like we have no control when emotions flare? And more importantly, how do we take that control back permanently? Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you has the power to change the entire direction of your emotional life. Most people think emotional mastery means never feeling anything, that it belongs to monks or therapists or people who've somehow been spared the weight of a difficult life. It doesn't. Emotional mastery is a skill, and like any skill, it is learnable. What it actually means is this: never getting angry or bothered by anyone or anything in a way that costs you your peace, your clarity, or your character. That is what this is about. If you apply what you learn here, no insult will shake you. No criticism will sting you. No person, no situation, no moment will ever have control over your peace again. You will never master the world outside until you have mastered the world inside. Because here is the truth that changes everything once you truly understand it. You are not at the mercy of your emotions. You're at the mercy of your habits. 6 techniques, ranked from foundational to the one that makes all the others permanent. And number 1 is not what you're expecting. Like and subscribe. Send this to someone who needs it. Let's count down. Number 6, the 90-second rule. The biological truth that nobody taught you. When something triggers you, someone cuts you off, your boss dismisses your idea in front of the room, your partner says exactly the wrong thing, your brain floods your body with stress chemicals. Cortisol, adrenaline, chest tight, jaw clenched, that heat rising behind your eyes. That flood lasts around 90 seconds. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, Harvard neuroscientist, confirmed what the Stoics understood intuitively. The chemicals surge, and then, if you don't interfere, they flush out naturally. 90 seconds is all it takes. So why are people still angry 3 hours later? Because within that window, they make a choice they don't even realize they're making. They start the story. What an idiot. She always does this. He never respects me. And the moment the story starts, you're no longer experiencing the trigger. You're choosing to rebuild it. Every single replay is a brand new 90 seconds, initiated entirely by you. This means that anger beyond the first minute and a half is always a choice, not a comfortable truth, but an extraordinarily empowering one. Your only job inside that window is this. Don't add a story. Don't narrate. Don't rehearse. Just breathe and let the chemistry do what it was designed to do. That space between what happened and the story you're about to tell yourself, that is where everything begins. And here's the part nobody talks about. The emotion that anger is actually hiding from you, because what you've been calling anger for most of your life, it isn't anger at all. Number 5, the Security Gaurd Lie. What your anger is actually protecting. What you call anger isn't anger. Anger is an emotional bodyguard. It shows up to protect something far softer underneath, automatically, without asking your permission, because vulnerability feels dangerous and anger feels safe. When someone criticizes your work and you feel that spike of defensiveness, you're not actually angry. You're hurt. Hurt that they don't see your value. Hurt that something you worked hard on was dismissed without care. When your partner forgets something important and you explode, underneath that explosion is a question you're too exposed to ask out loud. Do I matter to you? Anger volunteers to be the spokesperson. It steps forward, jaw set, ready to fight, while the real wound stands quietly behind it, waiting for someone to notice it exists. This matters enormously. Because when you argue from anger, you are always addressing the wrong thing, which is why the same arguments keep coming back. You're solving for the alarm, never the fire. "You never listen to me," gets a very different response than "I felt invisible in that conversation." Same situation, completely different outcome. When anger rises, pause. Ask honestly, what is the softer emotion underneath this? Hurt, fear, shame, the need to be seen. When you can name the real thing, you can address the real thing. When you address it, something actually heals. Anger is just the alarm. The wound is what needs tending. Number 4. The trigger map, your emotional landmines revealed. You wouldn't walk through a minefield blindfolded. So why do most people navigate their closest relationships without any map of where their emotional landmines are buried? Your triggers are not random. They follow precise patterns, and almost everyone leads back to an old wound, not a present circumstance. The coworker whose sarcasm always ignites you, probably not really about them. Maybe it echoes the cutting tone a sibling used, the authority figure who speaks dismissively, possibly an echo of a parent who never trusted your judgment. The comment from your partner that lands like a grenade, while the same words from a stranger would bounce right off. That's not a weakness. That's an unmapped landmine. Every button someone pushes only works because you wired it to something that hurt you long before this person arrived. Here is how to start mapping yours. For 1 week, every time you feel genuinely triggered, write down 3 things. Who was involved, what specifically they did or said, and what it reminded you of. Not what it made you feel, what it reminded you of. Within 7 days, patterns emerge. I always react to being interrupted. It echoes being talked over as a child. When you see the landmine, you can step around it instead of stepping on it. The person who always seemed to have power over your reactions stops being a threat. They become a signal, pointing directly to where you still need healing. The trigger only has power in the dark. Once you name it, you've already started diffusing it. Number 3, the observer and the pause. See it first, then choose. Inside you, right now, there is a part that is always calm. Not the part that reacts, not the voice that narrates your frustration. Something deeper, the observer. The part of you that can watch your emotions without becoming them. You've already accessed it. It was the moment, mid-argument, when you caught yourself thinking, why am I even this upset right now? That's noticing. That's stepping back while it's still happening. That was the observer activating. Marcus Aurelius called it the view from above, the capacity to witness your own inner experience as an observer rather than a captive. He practiced it every single day. Not because he was born serene. He ran an empire in constant war, betrayal, and crisis. He trained it. Here is what it looks like in practice. Your teenager rolls their eyes and you feel that familiar spike of irritation. Instead of becoming the irritation, make this one shift. I notice irritation arising. Not, I am angry. I notice anger arising. That small linguistic move creates real distance between you and the emotion. You are no longer inside the storm. You are watching it from the shore. And that matters, because you cannot make a good decision from inside a storm. But from the shore, you can. That is the first move. Witness it. The second move is what you do from there. Viktor Frankl watched everything a human being can lose get taken from him. His family, his freedom, his life's work. And in the ruins of that, in conditions most of us cannot imagine, he found something they could not reach. Between stimulus and response, he wrote, there is a space. In that space lies our freedom. Most people don't know this space exists. Their trigger and reaction feel fused. Someone speaks sharply, they fire back, because without training it is automatic. But the space is real, and it is trainable. Once you are watching from the shore, you pause. And inside that pause, you ask one question. What response would I be proud of tomorrow? That question does something precise. It activates the rational brain before the emotional brain finishes driving. It lifts you off autopilot and puts you back in the seat. The observer gives you the distance. The pause gives you the choice. See it, then choose it. These are not two separate skills you practice separately. They are one fluid move. And once it becomes natural, something around you shifts noticeably. Silence stops looking like weakness. It starts looking like someone who has decided not to enter your arena. Nothing confuses the aggressive more than someone who simply will not flinch. Train the observer, master the pause, and no emotion will run you again. Number 2, guard the gates. You become what you allow in. Everything we've covered so far is about what to do when the storm hits. This one is about why some people rarely face storms at all. There is a reason some people seem unshakable, and it is not just what they do during conflict. It is what they do between conflicts. In the ordinary, unremarkable hours of a normal day, your mind is a fortress, and you are the gatekeeper. Everything you allow inside, every piece of content, every conversation you entertain, every voice you give access to, is either building your emotional foundation or quietly eroding it. Silently, constantly, without asking permission. Consider what entered your mind this morning before you were fully awake. The news cycle engineered for outrage, the scroll through arguments between strangers, the comment section you wandered into. Every one of those inputs becomes a default lens your brain applies automatically to everything that comes next. Epictetus, who began his life as a literal slave, taught that the only true freedom is the discipline of what you allow to occupy your mind. He had nothing, and yet he was one of the freest men in recorded history. In practice, this means protecting your morning, the first 30 minutes before distraction arrives, like it is your most valuable asset, because that window sets the emotional frequency for your entire day. And then there is your self-talk, the voice narrating your inner life every waking minute. Is it building a palace or a prison? Every "I can't handle this" is a brick in the wrong wall. Every "I notice this is difficult" is a step towards strength. You cannot build emotional mastery while feeding your mind emotional chaos. What you allow in is what rises up under pressure. Protect the gates, and you protect your peace before the storms even arrive. Number 1. The integration system. How calm becomes who you are. Here is the twist nobody sees coming. The people who trigger you most aggressively are not your problem. They are your greatest trainers. Every difficult person in your life, the coworker who undermines you, the family member who knows exactly what to say to set you off, the stranger who seems specifically designed to test your patience. Every single one is giving you something most people pay years of therapy to receive. A live training session under real pressure. Think about how physical strength is built. You don't get stronger lifting comfortable weights. You get stronger at the edge of your capacity, where the resistance is real and the effort costs something. The same law governs emotional strength entirely. Every time someone triggers you and you hold the pause, you just got stronger. Every time you observe the emotion without being consumed by it, that's a rep. Every time you identify the wound underneath the anger, instead of performing the anger, you just healed something. The system has 3 parts. This is what separates someone who knows these ideas from someone who is transformed by them. Part 1. The daily review. Every evening, 5 minutes. Ask yourself 3 questions. Where was I triggered today? Did I respond or react? What would I do differently? Not self-criticism, but calibration. This is exactly what Marcus Aurelius did every night before sleep. If it was good enough for the man who ran the Roman Empire, it is good enough for us. Part 2. Single skill focus. Do not try to apply all 6 techniques at once. Pick one. Work only that one for 7 days until it starts to feel natural, then add the next. Slow construction that holds always beats fast construction that crumbles. You are not building a mood. You are building an identity. Part 3. Reframe the trainers. The next time a difficult person appears, rather than dreading the interaction, recognize it. You are in the gym. This person, without knowing it, is developing your capacity for composure, patience, and self-command. Every moment you hold steady when they push is a moment your character gets harder to break. When these three parts become daily practice, something shifts that no one around you will be able to fully explain. Calm stops being a technique you apply. It becomes something you are. People notice before you speak. The energy in a room adjusts when you enter it, not because you're performing anything, because you've earned something. You stop chasing peace. You start embodying it. You stop demanding respect. You start radiating it. Your silence will carry more weight than most people's loudest moments. Conclusion. Remember the feeling from the beginning of this video? Chest tight, mind replaying. Still angry 3 hours later over something that lasted 3 seconds. That version of you came into this video needing answers. The version of you finishing it. They already have them. Now it's just about the training. You've met the person who never seems rattled. You've admired them. You've wondered what they know that you don't. Now you know. They're not superhuman. They're trained. And that is what emotional mastery actually looks like. Not someone who feels nothing, but someone who is no longer controlled by everything they feel. Someone who moves through this world without being rattled by it. Someone who can't be easily angered, easily bothered, or easily broken. That is the destination. And every technique in this video is one step closer to it. If this shifted something for you today, share it with one person who needs their peace back. And drop a comment with this. Which of the 6 techniques do you need most right now? I read every single one. And whatever I see most, I build the next video around it. The world will keep testing you. People will keep pushing. Circumstances will keep shifting. None of that stops. But you are building something inside that storms cannot reach. One technique, 1 week, 1 rep at a time. Because the person who masters themselves, their thoughts, their reactions, their energy, owns their life. And that person? That's exactly who you're becoming.